25 miles of wire, 1,000 telegraph poles, a gigantic aerial fencing contract, all backed by American money. The man up the pole and the lone scientist behind the mystery is also an American, Dr. Grote Reber. The installation hardly compares with Pine Gap, but in scientific circles, the name Reber is enough to indicate that first impressions may be deceiving.
It's not great in the sense of having a fancy and expensive-looking bunch of appurtenances, but it is great as far as size is concerned, because this collection of poles and wires covers an area of very closely 1 square kilometer.
And how about the achievements from them? Would you regard this as great?
Well, I think they are, otherwise I wouldn't be doing it.
Dr. Grote Reber invented and built the world's first radio telescope. With that background, he could be working at installations such as Parkes or Jodrell Bank. The reason for his isolation, according to Reber, is that there are only 2 places on Earth where freakish windows in the sky allow a vision of space previously denied to man.
One of these was in the desolate, bitterly cold region around Hudson's Bay in Canada. And the other one was down here in Tasmania. And the southern sky is much more interesting than the northern sky. And here we have civilization and all the accoutrements thereof, and I find the natives are friendly.
Discoveries from this gas-powered radio telescope in the bush haven't endeared him to his scientific colleagues. For 400 years, it's been comfortably accepted that the universe eventually had some boundary and ended in a total vacuum somewhere way out in space. But by listening to cosmic static and plotting miles of charts through the winter nights, Grote Reber has shattered the century-old scientific theories.
My discoveries here are the, I like to call the endless, boundless, stable universe. That is, the universe is endless in time, both forward and backward. It's boundless in dimensions, and it's stable over any long period.
What does this mean? There's no outward shell, there's no limit virtually.
That is correct. In other words, the popular concept of the expanding universe originating with a Big Bang some 4,000 million years ago seems to be an erroneous interpretation of the evidence. And my interpretation is a much more logical thing.
Well, what does this make you feel like? A sort of a modern-day Christopher Columbus? Or?
Well, I don't know, really. It makes me feel like a heretic. And I am now shooting down somebody else's pet ideas, which have gotten into textbooks, and consequently, this heresy of mine is not too catchy.
It is a heresy. What does it really mean? What's the significance of it?
Well, the significance of it is that our general idea of the nature, the structure, and the history of the universe out in the far distance is completely different than what has been portrayed over the past 30 or 40 years.
So you've rewritten the science books on astronomy if this work is accepted?
Well, that's true. If this all turns out as I think it will, then it will be necessary for the sections on cosmology in the astronomy books to be rewritten.
After 40 years as a pioneer in radio astronomy, Dr. Reber so far hasn't been proven wrong in any of his findings. To those who find the concept of an endless universe going on forever hard to swallow, he offers few apologies.
Which I look for.
And what do you say to people who say, all this is bunkum anyhow, you're probably wrong?
Well, that's a very good question. I frequently encounter it, and my reaction simply is this: it could be so, but I have an open mind, and I am happy to have somebody else come along and give me a better explanation.